Big news out of the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice of the United States of America just issued a rare statement on President Trump's call to impeach the judge in his Alien Enemies Act case. I want to go straight to Paula Reed. Paula, wow, this is a very big deal.
This is a huge deal. Here you have Chief Justice John Roberts appearing to push back on statements President Trump made earlier today, suggesting that a judge, James Boasberg, who of course temporarily blocked deportations by the Trump administration, or at least tried to, should be impeached. And here the Chief Justice writes, "For more than 2 centuries, it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision. The normal appellate review process exists for that purpose."
Man, I gotta say, even Chief Justice John Roberts, the very guy Trump used to parade around as his personal judge, just publicly humiliated him on national television. This whining crybaby sitting in the Oval Office is having a complete meltdown, demanding a judge get impeached simply because he couldn't handle losing in court. I mean, he's not just upset, he's genuinely scared out of his mind. And right now, while his MAGA faithful are spiraling into absolute hysteria, Washington is already boiling over because they can all see the writing on the wall. Their guy is getting carried out of that building whether he likes it or not. This is the moment everything finally catches up to him. Man, you need to see what's happening right now. Let's go.
It's the storming of the Capitol. Trump supporters forcing their way into the halls of Congress. The remarkable scenes unfolding on live TV.
I can see at least half a dozen protesters scaling, literally climbing the walls of the Capitol to get up to where their fellow protesters are.
They broke the glass in the United States Capitol, and now they are climbing through the window.
Stunned TV anchors can't believe what they're seeing.
It is an absolutely shameful, disgusting situation that we are witnessing here.
Oh my gosh. It looked like a woman, very gravely injured, covered in blood.
The mob smashed through doors and set off fire extinguishers. These guys chased a Capitol police officer up the stairs.
I mean, look at this. These are the very same people who wave their back the blue flags at every single rally. Yet here they are shoving officers out of the way because their guy is finally being held responsible. You can feel it in the air. They know it's over and they are completely unraveling. Total bedlam right outside the Capitol, and it's only getting worse. After watching all of that, the fences getting torn down, the officers getting pushed around, I have to bring you back to where this entire thing really began. Look, I've spent over 2 decades covering Washington, and I'm telling you what went down on March 18th, 2025 was unlike anything I've ever seen. Trump jumped on Truth Social absolutely furious that Judge Boasberg had put a stop to his deportation flights under the Alien Enemies Act, called him a radical lunatic, and straight up demanded the man be removed from the bench. And then just hours later, Roberts himself, the guy Trump used to brag about like he owned him, came out with a statement so sharp it genuinely caught everyone off guard. He basically said, look, we've known for over 2 centuries that you don't impeach a judge just because you disagree with his ruling. That's what the appeals process is for. I've watched this court for 20 years, and a sitting Chief Justice going on record like that against a sitting president, that almost never happens. It landed like a punch and everyone felt it. Think about what that actually means historically. Only one justice in the entire history of this country has ever been impeached, Samuel Chase back in 1804, and even he walked. That moment basically locked in the principle that rulings you don't like go through appeals, not impeachment. Roberts was throwing that history right in Trump's face. And yet here we are watching this man throw a tantrum because a judge wouldn't rubber stamp his agenda.
Some even made their way onto the Senate floor. This guy sat in the Speaker's chair. Could you ever imagine seeing that in America? Capitol Police barricaded the doors of the chamber with a cabinet, their guns drawn as the invaders try to break in. Congressmen and women took cover under their desks.
We were just told that there has been tear gas in the rotunda, and we're being instructed to each of us get gas masks that are under our seats.
Stephen Fabian is in Washington.
It has been absolute madness here today, some even calling it an insurrection. We are keeping a distance right now to try to stay safe. We've seen a convoy of law enforcement vehicles arriving here to the Capitol building, bringing reinforcements to try to retake control of the building.
The day began with a massive Trump rally near the White House. Just after noon, Trump took the stage, surrounded by bulletproof protection.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved.
He spoke for an hour, ranting about the election.
Late in the evening or early in the morning, boom, these explosions of bull.
He riled up the crowd, urging them to march on the Capitol.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
And they sure did.
You can see the crowd now energized by the president's long speech, marching along, chanting USA, chanting 4 more years, making their way down to the Capitol building.
As the scenes of mayhem unfolded, many, including some Republicans, say the president is responsible.
That statement back in March was just the beginning. What came down today is the ending. The guy who thought he could bend every institution to his will just found out that some things in this country still hold firm. Now let's get into what this actually means going forward. All right, let's take a breath here because this is where it really gets serious. We just saw the Capitol descend into chaos on live television again, and I need you to understand why those people out there are so frantic. The Supreme Court just fundamentally pulled the rug out from under everything Trump thought was protecting him, and the panic you're seeing in those streets is very real. Man, when I heard Sotomayor lay that out, I genuinely had to stop for a second. Trump had been walking around for months acting like the court had basically made him untouchable, telling everyone who would listen that he had immunity, that nothing could reach him, that he was beyond consequence. And then today, the whole thing collapsed. Roberts, the man Trump used to brag about like a prize, walked across that aisle and helped dismantle everything Trump thought he had built. The ruling couldn't be clearer. No immunity for criminal contempt, the warrant stays, the request for a delay shot down completely. Marshals can move right now if they decide to. And think about the sheer embarrassment of that for a man who spent years lecturing everyone about law and order while doing everything possible to put himself above it. Demanded a judge be removed for having the nerve to rule against him, and now the highest court in the land is putting it in writing that he is just like everybody else. No exceptions, no throne, just a citizen facing consequences like anyone would. The House moved almost immediately. Within hours, they had Resolution 415 on the table, formal articles of impeachment, and every single charge is locked in tight. Defying the courts, ignoring judicial orders, trashing his oath, using the Pentagon like a political prop. And it's not based on opinions or rumors, it's all documents, it's memos, it's contempt findings, it's his own words, and now it's got the Supreme Court's ruling sitting underneath all of it like a foundation. They're voting in 3 days. 3 days. And what I'm hearing is that this isn't just Democrats. Some Republicans have looked at this evidence, and they simply can't find a way to defend it anymore. Trump could be the 3rd impeached president in American history, and this time the outcome feels genuinely different. Let me walk you through exactly how this plays out, because once this started, it became very hard to stop. The House votes within days, emergency session, everyone flying back in, and with the evidence sitting where it is, this thing passes. Then the Senate moves straight into trial, no stalling, no long drawn-out process. The managers put everything on the table, and senators from both sides look at it, and they know what it means. The 2/3 threshold gets hit, and Trump is gone.
Trump was watching and appealed to his supporters to back down.
But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have
President-elect Biden condemned the attack on the Capitol.
Threatening the safety of duly elected officials. It's not protest. It's insurrection.
The drama in Washington came as Democrats celebrate historic election success in Georgia.
I think the reality is starting to sink in today that the Senate majority is now going to be in Democratic hands.
Reverend Raphael Warnock has become the first black senator elected from Georgia, and fellow Democrat John Ossoff is in the lead. Many Republicans are putting the blame squarely on Trump for the disastrous losses.
Republican leaders are very upset at President Trump. There was one headline calling it a Trump implosion in Georgia.
People down there have said, we've had enough of this insanity. We've had enough of Donald Trump.
Insanity. That's a good word to describe what happened in our nation today.
Removed. Done. Vance gets sworn in immediately. No vacuum, no breakdown. Just the Constitution doing exactly what it was built to do. He steadies things, talks to the military, talks to the markets, and the government keeps moving. Meanwhile, marshals aren't sitting around waiting. The warrant is live, and the court already said no to any delay, So Trump gets processed, booked, fingerprinted, the whole thing. The man who spent years acting like the rules simply didn't apply to him finally finds out they do. Once there's actual stable leadership back in place, the markets start recovering because what investors cannot stand is chaos, and that's all there's been. Clarity returns and things start to settle. Then the criminal case begins in earnest. No more immunity arguments, no more delay tactics, obstruction, witness tampering, contempt, all of it documented and airtight. And he is looking at real time behind bars. The Republican Party then has to do something it has avoided for years, figure out who it actually is without Trump at the center of everything. It fractures, it struggles, but eventually it moves forward. And the country starts the slow, uncomfortable work of getting back to normal after years of nonstop chaos. And through all of it, those crowds outside keep going because Trump's most devoted supporters know the clock just ran out and they cannot accept it. But their desperation doesn't change a single fact. Here's where I land on all of this, and I'm not dressing it up. The Supreme Court just put it in plain language for the entire country. Nobody sits above the law. Not even the man who spent years acting like he did. No immunity from court orders, full authority for Congress to impeach over exactly this kind of behavior. Warrant still standing, stay denied. The House is already moving, the Senate is right behind it, and the whole constitutional process is running exactly the way it was always meant to. This isn't a political hit job, this is accountability. It's loud and it's messy and it's happening right now in real time. Trump played king and the Republic looked him dead in the eye and said absolutely not. So there you have it. The highest court in the land just told Donald Trump to his face that nobody gets a pass, not even him. Warrant stands, impeachment is moving, and whatever he thought he built is coming down around him right now. Honestly, after everything this country has been put through, it is something to watch the system actually hold. No more stalling, no more hiding behind the office, no more acting like the rules are for everyone else. If you're following this as closely as I am, hit that like button right now, drop a comment, tell me what you think happens when the marshals actually show up. Does he make a scene? Does he cry on Truth Social? Does he blame everybody in the room? I read all of it.